Hello, welcome back to my Broadway talk show, Live with Rye Friends on Broadway. Yes, my needs to be turned off. Live with Rye Friends on Broadway, the only free Broadway talk show here in the heart of Hell's Kitchen. I'm your host, Rye Myers, your Broadway and entertainment BFF. There we go. So welcome. Hello, everyone who's joining us again, and those who are new, welcome, welcome. Happy to have you. And for those joining at home, hello, welcome back. Thank you again for tuning in. If you're new and tuning in, thank you again. Exciting things happening, exciting things going on. If you're looking for something to drink while you're here, might I recommend the cocktail named after moi, the rye cocktail, which is delicious. It is Crown Royale. It is peach schnapps, cranberry juice, and Sprite. It's very delicious, and it's only on Thursday nights here at Bar 9 during my show. So get your hands on that if you want. You can ask Casey. She'll help you with that. And big thing before we continue, there is no show next week, so I'll be back the following week, but for those who come out week after week, there is no show, so I will see you the following. And let's give a big round of applause for tonight's sponsor, Jersey Boys. Put your hands together for Jersey Boys. They've incredibly donated these awesome gifts that you're going to get at trivia time. They've sponsored tonight's event, and for those who don't know, Jersey Boys actually has just been seen, recently just hit 30 million people who have seen it worldwide. And for more information, you can go to jerseyboysnewyork.com. So they're incredible. Does everyone here see Jersey Boys? Yeah, have you seen it? Never seen Jersey Boys? No. It's all right. I just saw it for the first time last month. So you got to get to it if you can. It's off Broadway. It's very good. Are you from here?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you had the chance, the tickets are super cheap. Definitely go and see it. It's worth it. Amazing. And make sure you tip Casey, our wonderful bartender. She's incredible. And show her some love as well. And I also want to say I'm so happy to see things are getting back. Things are opening. Broadway is back. We celebrate that every week. New shows are coming about, so it's all very exciting. Like every week, here's some exciting Broadway news that I talk about. The first piece of news, which I'm sure we all have heard about, the name on everybody's lips is gonna be Pamela Anderson. Sure, you may have heard Pamela Anderson is taking over as Roxy Hart, making her Broadway debut next month in April. We'd love to get your thoughts on this. So Chicago is notoriously known for stunt casting. I mean, they've had Real Housewives. They've had, the Real Housewives. They've had Ashley Simpson. They've had Wendy Williams, like all these, Erica Jane, all these crazy people. So it doesn't surprise me. But what do you think about them doing Pamela Anderson? Yeah?
Give her a chance.
Oh, I agree, yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm thrilled. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what she can do. I'm just curious because there's been a lot of on social media this week. Everybody was like, why? Like, she's not a performer. Da 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 da. But A, they're known for stunt casting, and B, like, after this Pam and Tommy series, I'm excited to see her.
She didn't consent to that.
Really?
Yeah. And
Wow.
also, she was an actress first.
Right. Exactly. So I'm excited to see. Yeah, I'm excited to see what she's going to do. So I'm thrilled to see. I can't wait to see her in it. And
maybe Hasselhoff can come back as Billy.
Right? Maybe. I mean, James Monroe leaves this week, so it's very possible.
Someone get him a job.
It's very possible. And another exciting thing: the Tonys are officially coming back this year, June 12th, back to their original month of June, and back at Radio City Music Hall. So thank God they're coming back, and they'll be in person. So let the games begin between now and. Well, pretty much June 12th is a feat for the Tonys between Tonys advertising, Tony voting, everything in between. It is a real feat. And for those watching, if you need a Tony Awards red carpet reporter, I'm here for you. Listen, I can do it. So Broadway League, if you're watching Tony Awards, American Theater Wing, all of you out there, I'm here and available to do a Tony Awards red carpet. I don't know if you all saw this, but this week, it was announced that Daniel Radcliffe's going to be starring in the off-Broadway revival of Merrily We Roll Along down at New York Theater Workshop. And this is going to be directed by Maria Friedman. It was actually done in the UK a few years ago, directed by Maria Friedman. And I love her because Maria Friedman is from Joseph. That's where I know her from Joseph, when she did it with Donny Osmond. And her sister, Sonia Friedman, who's a big-time Broadway producer, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, Funny Girl, all these other ones, is producing it, and Daniel Radcliffe will be starring. From what I'm told, it's going to be opening in November, and I'm hearing that it's planning a Broadway bow in the beginning of 2023. Apparently, Stephen Sondheim was very excited about this production. He gave Maria his blessing. Like, he was really excited about this production. So, 2023, we may get Merrily We Roll Along, and if Daniel Radcliffe comes, it'll be a big hit. However many years later, 40 some years later. So, and finally, tonight begins the long-awaited return of the revival Take Me Out. It's their first performance at the Helen Hayes Theater. Let's give that a round of applause. I'm excited. Can't wait to go. Yes, Jesse Tyler Ferguson. It's going to be great. And after many postponements, it's finally happening. So I'm thrilled, and another show reopening. And with that, let's welcome my very special guest tonight. You all have seen him on Broadway, across America. He is not only just so incredibly kind, but so damn talented. I'm so excited to have him on my show. Please help me welcome the one and only, the very talented Daniel Quadrino. Woo! Oh, it doesn't matter. Whatever way it works for you. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Thank you for coming on. So how are you?
Good. Happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you. Thank you so much for coming out and doing this. You look wonderful. I love the outfit.
Thank you so much.
I love it. It's like very cheetah printy. I love it.
Yeah.
Animal. Love it.
Thrift shop moments.
Amazing. Do you have a good thrift shop near you, or?
No, I just go in Brooklyn on the east side.
Oh, amazing. Okay. Yeah, we've got there's a Goodwill around the corner from me. I've never been in it, but I know that with thrift shops you can find some good things. So I always love a good thrift shop. So
Jane Fonda told me I should stop buying fast fashion. So not me personally, but she told me.
Fast
So
fashion.
that's a way to reduce our carbon footprint. So I'm gonna try.
I like that. I've never heard that before. So I ask everyone this, and I would love to know from you, how did you get started in performing? Was it something that you found, or did performing find you? And I understand, I was listening to an interview today you gave. You grew up next to a rockette who happened to give you dance lessons?
Well, I grew up across the street from a woman who was a rockette, and her granddaughter was around my age.
Okay.
And we were always putting shows on our lawn. My parents got 2 gay children. Woo! And so
Yes,
we were always doing something stupid on the lawn, like putting on some sort of show. And the woman saw it, and she signed me up for a jazz class. And I whined all the way there. And then leaving that day, I signed up for 6 more classes, and I took 7 dance classes a week for a while.
Wow.
From 3rd grade to freshman year of high school.
Did you have a favorite type of dance class that you took, or?
I guess I liked jazz. I don't know. Now I'm dance club, that stresses me out. But I used to like to dance.
Right. Was that sort of what you got to know first, was dancing before the singing and acting?
Yeah, but then I kind of once American Idol started, I just, kind of fell in love with singing. And then my first talent show competition or whatever in high school, I sang Build Me Up Buttercup as a solo presentation.
I love that. So American Idol, what was your favorite season? Did you have a favorite
Oh
season?
my God. I don't know. I was,
Because I was addicted to that show.
yeah,
I
the first
started at
4
season
seasons. Oh, I was only up to the first 4.
Oh,
So
okay.
I was definitely more of a, I loved Carrie Underwood, which is,
Yes.
now I'm blanking on everybody else.
No,
but
I remember watching. Now that you say that, I remember watching the finale when she won. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Wasn't it so crazy too with American Idol, how remember back then they would win and they would also then get a car, or it's so crazy. They got a single made, and now it's
Well, they also own you for 10 years, not to be
That's true. No, that's
Debbie
true.
Downer.
They
That's
do.
kind of,
but
you almost don't want to win, because then they're
Well-
you're not owned by Fox.
but they also the hard part I think about winning today is it's so saturated the industry. One of the interesting things, so I started watching it around season 4. Anybody watch American Idol, the old ones back in the day?
Yeah, and now it's on season 20. You know I'm still watching.
I love it. Yes, season 20. I just had back in December Alyssa Ray from last season, from season 19 on my show in December, and she's going to be singing my theme song. So we love American Idol, but I started watching around season 5, and from season 5 through season 10, I was addicted. I didn't miss it every night. I watched it Tuesdays, Wednesdays.
It's like a family
It
affair.
was-
in my
Oh,
house.
it was a big
Yeah.
thing. But one of the things that I found so interesting was, as the music industry progressed, Carrie Underwood, Kelly Clarkson, all the way I would say up through even Adam Lambert, the music industry was what it was today. So people would get nowadays I feel if you win, I couldn't tell you who the winner of American Idol or The Voice is. Like, I
Who
couldn't.
won last year? Okay.
Right. It's like it's
Big
so
fan.
heavily it's so heavily saturated. No, like, and that's for me what I feel like. It's like I feel like it's so tough with those music competition shows today because, back then it was, that is what made Carrie and Kelly.
For sure. It's really interesting if you listen to Kelly Clarkson talk about it. I could tell. Yeah, now because she's like talks about how like her experience wasn't great, and it's like, oh wow, it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz,
Right.
the man behind the curtain.
exactly. It was such a life-changing for all of them.
Yeah, for sure.
And I mean, we got some incredible people from that show. I mean, Jennifer Hudson. I mean, who would have? It's interesting how it's wonderful. So that's awesome. And so then throughout high school, you also performed and did shows and.
Yeah, I stopped my freshman year. That's when I kind of started getting into like theater, and then I did all the shows in high school, and then I did community theater production. My breakout role was Troy Bolton in High School Musical.
Amazing.
Very, very exciting.
Oh, I love that.
Um,
you were breaking free.
Yeah, breaking free and popping my vocal cord.
Oh, Jesus. That actually happened?
Yeah, I did get a polyp because of it, but then I learned how to melt after, which was better. Anyway,
God.
yeah, so that happened, and then like my senior year, I made my Broadway debut.
Wow. Yes. Well, that's a perfect segue because yes, your senior year, you made your Broadway debut in "We Love You, Conrad." Oh, yes, we do. In "Bye Bye Birdie," the revival with John Stamos. I'm not a performer. So how did this come about? And wow, your senior year, I mean, to star in a Broadway musical, what was that like?
Well, I went to an open call for it, and I was like, oh, they're definitely gonna cast like older people.
Right.
Me being 17, being like, they're gonna cast 30-year-olds, and now me being 30, being like, I could still play high school. Please cast me.
You could still play high school.
But
you have such a young face.
thank you.
Yeah.
No work done yet. Yeah, so I went to the open call and just got like a bunch of callbacks from there. And then, it happened. I mean, I got the call, and I was actually doing Bye Bye Birdie in community theater when I got the call. I booked it on Broadway. I was playing Albert, and I was like, this is so crazy. And it kind of just changed my entire perspective in life, as you could imagine. But it was an amazing experience. The show didn't get good reviews and all that stuff, but
Did it? I don't remember.
I
No,
mean,
it didn't last long. But.
yeah, well, it was a roundabout run, so it was only six.
Okay.
It was supposed to be 6 months, and then we got extended, and then they took it away. It is what it is, but it was an amazing experience, and I still talk to like all those people today.
Yeah, that's amazing. Wow.
We did like a big 10-year anniversary Zoom in the middle of the pandemic. Like everybody was
Wow.
there, which is cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I wish I would have seen that production. And what was it like to work with Uncle Jesse at John Stamos?
He is Uncle Jesse. Like
Is
that.
he?
It's who he is. Like
Wow. So he's actually.
Yeah. He got us all these like flip cameras for opening that had like the poster engraved on the front, and he was on the Zoom and he like shared his screen and was like showing all these videos and photos that he had from like tech, and it was like stuff we had never seen before, and he really treated us kids like his family. It was amazing. It was really, really incredible.
And your role in Bye Bye Birdie was
I was an ensemble member and I covered Hugo.
covered Hugo.
yeah.
Yes. Have you learned about Hugo and Did they really get pinned? There's so many there's so many references to that. I'll stop. Did you go on for Hugo?
Yeah, I went on like 6 or 7 times. Yeah, the first time I went on was a matinee, and I didn't have a put-in, and the stage manager and I were in the lobby running the show, like singing One Boy. I'm like, one boy, just like holding the stage manager's hand, doing the block, and I was like, this is wild. Yeah, but it kind of like set me up for the rest of my career, so that was cool.
How did you manage doing that and being? I mean, it was your senior year in high school, so were you also going to school during?
Yeah,
the day, or-
but like your senior year is kind of easy because you're just like applying for colleges. Like I auditioned my junior year, and then I was like, I booked Broadway, and I was like, oh, I don't need to pay attention to the SATs. Like I don't need to prep for that. And then little did I know I needed it. But yeah, so it was hard, but at the same time, I was just like writing college essays, so it was kind of
Oh, that's amazing.
easy. We had tutoring during the day, and then the show at night or rehearsal when you're in tech. So.
Well, what was the audition process like with Brittany? I mean, and you said it was an open call, and what did you learn from that experience that helped you now moving forward into your other Broadway credits? Auditioning?
Yeah, I mean that audition process was crazy because the open call, there was like over 1,000 people there. It was like, and it was when 9 to 5 was playing, and the rehearsal studio was on like 40 something, and that's where the auditions were. And I heard the 9 to 5 like outside music for like 3 hours just on a loop, and I was like, I'm gonna. So
You never really hear that
yeah,
song again.
exactly. But now I'm like, I think about it and it like brings back really great memories.
Right.
So they typed us in. There were so many people. So if they didn't think that, which I hate it. I hate that. So they line you up and they're like, you, not you. And then I sang in a coat closet. And then they asked me to come back and dance. And then I went back and then they gave me sides and just blah, blah, blah. Like, boom. The last callback, there was like 3 groups of 12 people. And they were bringing Matt Doyle around. And Allie, who was Kim. They were bringing them around to see who they like looked the most, I guess, I'm like, vibed the most with. But yeah. So then I was in the right group.
Right group, right place, right time.
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
really, that's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, that.
Yeah,
that's
it
awesome.
made me grow up a lot too.
I'm
Yeah,
sure.
just because I was like doing something that at such a young age. I can't imagine like people younger than that like doing that, and like it's amazing to see.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's incredible, and I mean, what an experience, and I mean, a wild ride. And what theater was that at?
Well, it's now the Sondheim. It was the
Now
Henry
it's
Miller,
not okay, because I looked at the playbook cover this morning online, and I was like, I forget what it was called at the time.
The
I was
Henry
like,
Miller, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, where is this theater at? I know I
Yeah.
thought like it was at the American Airlines, but
Yeah.
Stephen Sondheim, that makes sense. So then after Bye Bye Birdie, you went off to school
Mhm.
to Pace, right?
Yeah.
And you majored in musical theater.
Yes, I did.
And how did you like going to school for musical theater? And do you feel that it helped you, or do you feel that a lot of what you've learned has just been sort of on the job? And,
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts?
I definitely feel like I learned more on the job, to be honest. But I loved my experience down there at Pace, but it was kind of, I chose Pace because I had already been working and I wanted to keep working. So that's why I went to school. And my parents they were like, you need to go to school. I'm glad I have a degree.
Oh, sure.
For sure.
Of course.
But I probably should have majored in something else.
Well, I mean, I think it's kind of worked out for you. I mean, 'cause,
Well,
you know,
no,
but-
sure,
yeah,
absolutely. But like now looking back, I was like, oh, I should have like majored in something or minored in something so that like when there's a global pandemic, I'm not like, what the heck am I gonna do with my life?
Well,
So
I understand,
now
I
in
understand,
hindsight,
right.
my dad was right. I should have minored in something.
That's true. Well, it's funny. A lot of people I've talked to, they say that like the on-the-job training is because it's an interesting conversation. I feel like that is constantly being had in this industry, but I feel like in all industries, of with the going to college question, is it needed? Is it required? The piece of paper, is it And I've heard some people I've had on the show who have different takes. Getting that piece of paper is important to them. Others feel like it wasn't needed, or they'll do a conservatory. So I was just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely. It varies person to person. At the end of the day, I'm very glad I went to school. So.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So then you went to school for 4 years, and I know during that time you didn't do too much.
Yeah, I was, in that
Yeah.
in between age.
Well, but then in that in between age, as you finished up, you then got cast in a little unknown show that, well, at the time they thought was going to be unknown and took Broadway by storm. A little show called Newsies. Newsies on Broadway. You joined Newsies on Broadway. And for those who don't know, Newsies was at Paper Mill Playhouse, originally supposed to just be a limited run. And the hype was so incredible that they brought it to Broadway and was open-ended for a few years. So let's talk about Newsies. Wow, what a show. You joined in 2013, right?
Yeah, I auditioned 24 times.
What? What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes sense. You're fine.
I was in final score at Paper Mill, and I didn't end up getting it. And then from those callbacks combined with how many times I went back in on Broadway, it was about 20-something times. They told me in the room once I finally booked it, and it was like, where are the cameras? Like, it felt like a hidden camera show. Like, I was crying. Yeah. It was-
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
that's sweet.
It was like a joke by the time I went in. They're like, oh, you know the whole show by now. And I was like, well, just give me the job, please.
So they actually told you right there on the spot?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
And that's never really happened. That's never happened to me again, and it like never really happens. So
It doesn't. It's very
Yeah.
rare that it.
and it was the
doesn't.
whole team. It was like everybody in there.
Was
And,
there callbacks, or was this just another?
it was a final callback, and there was cut down to 4 of us for the track. And I was walking to the elevator, and they're like, "We have one more. We need to ask one more thing." And then everyone like was like just weirdly smiling at me, and I was like, "I have a train to make. Like, hi, what's up?" And Jeff Calhoun was like, "We just have one more question. How'd you like to be a newsie?" And I was like, I just like lost it.
24 times. Okay, if that doesn't, I mean, for those watching, for those out there, that's perseverance. I mean, 24 times.
That's why I always tell the story. I like do a lot of like
Right.
that's how we do
Yes,
like doing
yes,
Broadway
coachings
stuff
and
do
teachings,
coachings
yeah.
and teaching and stuff like that. And I always tell that story because it's like my dad always said it's not if, it's when. So it's like that's what I always think of when I go, even when I go in for things now and I don't get it, and I just keep on going in and going in.
I was listening to a podcast you did today, and I heard you say that it's not if, but when. And I thought that was really special.
Yeah.
Wow, 24 times. So you went into,
Worth it.
Oh, I'm sure. So you went into the show. Did you know how big the fan base was, and what did you make of the quote unquote fansies? which were
Okay,
Newsies
they
fans?
are sleuths. I'll tell you that much
Oh
because
my gosh.
it was like when Twitter was thing. Twitter was like big or like I mean I guess Twitter's still big. I'm not on Twitter anymore, but like they all found me on Twitter before I was announced because everyone was starting to follow me from the cast. And it was really weird starting to get like tweets and I'm like I cannot say anything because like that's how they work. Yeah,
right.
but they
It's
were
Disney.
you know. We have a 10-year anniversary reunion concert coming up at
You
54
do.
Below. I would tell you to get tickets when it's sold
And
out.
I was going to say, if you hook a boy up and
Yeah.
if there's a ticket available, yeah, it's sold out in minutes, I think. If I recall
So
correctly.
crazy. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It'll be nice to be together with everybody.
And
we
so,
all still stay in touch as well.
I mean, that's amazing. So it was truly the fans, and it was probably nothing you ever expected, I assume, right?
No, I mean, I think that's what like kind of has given me the little bit of a following that I have
Yeah.
now is it all started because of
They're
that.
loyal
So like I
fans.
definitely have Newsies to thank.
Yeah.
For that. I have Newsies to thank for a lot of things.
Right. Well, the fan base for Newsies is loyal.
Yeah.
I mean, they still, everyone that, was a part of that show, I feel like still has a
Yeah.
Newsies fan base, that I still see today. That
I get reminded of Newsies at least once a week. You know what I mean? Just,
Right.
It's like one of
Oh,
those things
sure.
where it like gets popped up or like someone will like something or ask a question. It's,
Now, that stage door must have been insane. What was one of the craziest experiences you
one
had?
girl tried to give me notes one time. like a note on my performance. And I was like, girl,
What?
I don't care how many times you see the show. You can't
Oh
do that.
my God.
Yeah, but that was fun. So
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane. I hope you told her off. I said, like,
I
we were just
did
kind
my
of just like,
day.
oh,
Yeah,
okay, thank
exactly.
you.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. Note to self, to those, well, not to self, note to those people, don't do that to
Yeah.
performers at all of any level. That's just not cool. I mean,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, silly,
Oh,
but
wow.
whatever.
I saw Newsies in June 2013. My Nana had taken me as a high school graduation gift. It was
Love it.
awesome. It was, well, Corey Cott was Jack at the time, and it was a wonderful, wonderful show. I really enjoyed it, and it was so magical.
Yeah, it was
I saw the opening night in Philadelphia. It was,
cool.
the tour.
Yeah, I love the show so much, and I got to do it at the Muni and in Pittsburgh. I got to do it like a bunch after it closed, so it's nice that I had like another chapter with it.
Did you go in when Jeremy was in it, or was
No, it was Corey.
Corey?
Yes,
Amazing. And what was your role in Newsies? I know, but
Yeah, I was Albert, and then I covered Crutchy and Davey.
I give all of you props because that show is just so intense. It's
Yeah,
insane.
it was a lot of my body, but you know,
I bet.
again, worth it.
It's totally worth it. Totally worth it. And you have the 54 Below show 10th anniversary coming up. It's sold out, as you said, very, very fast. What can we expect to see from that? Are you able to tune in live stream? Is there live streaming?
I have no clue. I really wish I had more
Amazing.
information, but
That's okay.
I was like, I know when I have rehearsal and I'll show up.
Okay.
And I know that I'm only doing the Monday show. Both shows on Mondays. On the Monday.
Nice. But you don't know what is in store in the center.
I don't think I'd even be able to tell you. Just
I
because,
I wasn't sure.
yeah.
But you never know. I mean, I had to ask. So.
For sure.
So, as you said earlier, we met through Broadway Plus when I hosted the Newsies cast reunion for their Plus Pass for their online streaming service, which was a lot of fun. It was you, Kara Lindsay, Lavon Fisher-Wilson. What fun. You have done a lot of sort of coaching and teachings and Broadway programs. What have you learned from all of them, like from doing this?
I learned that like you really just have to lead with kindness with everything you do.
Yeah.
And like, some things come really easy to some people and not for the others. And everyone learns and processes information differently. So like I just try to like make my coachings also feel like it's just big conversation, and I want the person to feel comfortable enough to like mess up and make a mistake, because that's where you find the best stuff is when you like really mess up. And it's like, so like I've learned just to like start like just have a connection with someone, and it's nice. I haven't coached in a minute, but like when I do, I really do like it. I love helping people sing through songs, especially like pre-college, because like that age and like getting ready for college, because like I was always trying to be what I thought everybody else wanted me to be, instead of just like saying like F it, I'm just gonna be me, and then in this and bring myself into the material. I was always trying to fit into a box instead of having something just, this is my way of doing it. Does that make sense? Yeah.
That's interesting. Wow. So it's also must be very fulfilling as well to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I can always leave an audition, because that's something I do myself. I leave an audition now being like, well, that's me. So if they don't want me for me, then I'm not going to change for that.
Right.
And I used to do that all the time. I'd be like, well, the character description says this, so I'm going to like try and be this. Yeah.
So that's great then to give that then to other actors, and to give that advice and help to them for sure. And that's wonderful. So I know you've prepared a song for us today.
Yeah.
I would love to hear it. Tell us what you're going to be singing.
I'm going to sing a little Celine Dion, Taking Chances. It's one of my favorite songs. So
Well, take it away.
here we go. I'm going to sit. Don't know much about your life, don't know much about your world, but don't wanna be alone tonight on this planet they call Earth. You don't know about my past, and I don't have a future figured out, and maybe this is going too fast. Maybe it's not meant to last. But what do you say to taking chances? And what do you say to jumping off the edge? Never knowing if there's solid ground to hold, or hands to hold, or hell to pay. What do you say? I just wanna start again. Maybe you could show me how to try. Maybe you could take me in, somewhere underneath your skin. What do you say to taking chances? What do you say to jumping off the edge? Never knowing if there's solid ground to hold, or hands to hold, or hell to pay. What do you say? What do you say? I had my heart beating down, but I always come back for more, yeah. And there's nothing like love to pull you up when you're lying down on the floor there. So talk to me like lovers do. Yeah, talk with me, walk with me like lovers do. Like lovers do. And what do you say to taking chances? What do you say to jumping off the edge? Never knowing if there's solid ground below, or hands to hold, What do you say? What do you say?
Wow! Oh my gosh! That was, oh my God, that was incredible.
Thanks.
Wow, that was so
Thanks.
beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow, that was just so.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I've never heard that version before. I love it.
Oh, thanks.
So great. So again, I just want to take a minute to thank everyone. A round of applause for Miles.
Yes, Miles nailed it.
Thank you for that, Miles. Of course. I just want to take a moment again to thank tonight's sponsors. I think my microphone's out again. That's okay.
I didn't touch it.
What?
I didn't fuck with it.
Oh, there we go. I want to take a minute to, again, thank tonight's sponsors, Jersey Boys. They're giving away these awesome prizes tonight at trivia time, these special edition rubber duckies. Jersey Boys is absolutely incredible. The original Broadway sensation, Jersey Boys, plays 8 shows a week currently at New World Stages in New York City. Go behind the scenes and the music inside the story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons in the Tony and Grammy award-winning true life musical phenomenon. It features the legendary top hits like Sherry, Big Girls Don't Cry, like Walk Like a Man, Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, December 1963. As we've said, there's been so many Jersey Boys connections here at this very bar. My first guest was Michael Longoria, who was in the original cast. We have Donnie Kerr, who was my second guest and also does dueling pianos here, who was in it. Alan on Friday night, who does the dueling pianos, music directs. It's been Jersey Boys is a lot of roots here, so we're thrilled that they're sponsoring tonight. So thank you again, Jersey Boys. So it was great. So after Newsies, you were there for quite a few years, and you went into Wicked, and that must have been exciting to go from one big musical to the next.
Yeah, I did Peter Pan in between on NBC,
Yes.
and then I had a few months off, and then I had an audition for Wicked, had a callback, got a call like the next day after my callback that I was gonna go in. It was like an immediate kind of replacement, and I did the show for 2.5 years. It was
Amazing.
insane.
Well, okay, so we'll talk about Wicked later. You did Peter Pan first, so
Yeah.
you did Peter Pan live, right?
Mhm.
That is so cool. What was that like? You got to work with Christopher Walken.
Oh, yeah.
Allison.
Um,
Allison
Williams, yeah.
right? Yes.
Yeah, that was like everyone was calling that like Newsies too.
Yeah,
because
there's so
it was,
many
like,
Newsies
all
boys
Newsies.
in that.
Yeah, but it was really a fun time. I'd never done anything like that before. But you rehearse it like a musical, and then you get to the soundstage, and there's just a lot of cameras around.
And it's actually live. It actually
Yeah.
is.
The first time we ran the whole thing was the night before.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was fun, and yeah, it was insane. And we all like put our phones like away. We didn't want to see the hate tweets, because that's what people do when
Yeah,
when
of
these
course,
things
of
go on.
course.
So we were like, let's just put our phones away. We partied on Neverland after, like, because you do opening, first preview, and closing all in one night. So you're
Exactly,
like, let's
exactly.
party.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
And I sorry to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
It was on Long Island, and that's where I'm from. So and we would pass my community theater on the way to the sound studio. So like that was cool, full circle.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
That is full circle. Wow. Was there something that you learned particularly about doing these live musicals like that you took away from that experience?
A lot more goes into everything
I'm sure.
and then you just see. Like you just see
Yeah.
that, like as an audience member, you just see the finished product, but there's so much more that goes into it. So just like again, lead with kindness.
Right.
Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
I mean, it was awesome. I mean, it was beautiful to look at, and it was like you were really just like transported into it. It was cool.
Well, and they all sing live in there, so that has to be. Was that much harder? Because I know the big sort of, not argument, but the big thing with these movie musicals that happen is a lot of times they're not singing live. They're pre-recorded, such as like the Les Miserables and all of those movie musicals, but they sing live in these live NBC live shows. Was that tougher? Do you see why maybe in the movies they don't sing live, or was it?
Sure, but I liked that it was live.
Yeah.
But I also see why, like, when you get a big blockbuster movie, you're not gonna go like you're not gonna have like In the Heights would have been weird if they like were singing live. Like I want it to sound perfect.
Of course,
You know?
of course.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. It was a really great show. I remember watching. Was it their second live musical that they did right after Sound of Music?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty amazing.
Yeah. So they like learn from that and they keep learning, which I think is awesome.
And what was it like to work with Christopher Walken?
It's like I was pretty like intimidated by him, but he's actually like a very nice person. Like and he's just like, you know, I mean I didn't have many interactions with him, but he was always very pleasant to us.
Well, that's
So,
good to
yeah.
hear. That's
Yeah.
good.
Allison was amazing too.
Oh,
like she
yeah.
like, you know, we all went to brunch together, we all got to know each other because we spent so much time together. So it's
I
nice.
love that.
Yeah.
Hi, folks. Welcome. Hello. This is Live with Rye Friends on
Hello.
Broadway. These your friends?
No.
Oh, well, welcome. I'm Rye Myers. This is Live with
That
Rye
would
and
be
Friends.
Matt, one of our. Yeah, I'm playing up here.
Oh, you're playing. Oh, okay. Well, welcome. Thanks for coming early. Hello. This is Daniel Quadrino. My guest for tonight. He's been on Broadway and Newsies and Wicked and Bye Bye Birdie and so much more. So that's really interesting. You know, I'm curious. So they did Annie live. I wonder what they're going to do.
Yeah.
What next year's going to be. They're doing. I like Jesus Christ Superstar.
Yeah, I thought that was the best one.
I did too. That
Yeah.
was, at the time, I was interning at Telsey during that
Oh.
time, and it was very interesting to see how casting in general, but how they went into like choosing that and casting that, and who it was down to in the last,
Right.
like, and also just how it was so interesting and really just truly fascinating.
Yeah.
You know, but I do that was the one one NBC Live that I really did like. I mean, I like Listen Peter Pan.
You don't
the
have
show
to,
that got.
I understand.
Peter Pan was the show that got me into theater,
Right.
but not, you know, the live musical. It was cool to see, you know.
Yeah.
So you know, it was cool to see. So so when you went into Wicked, who was your alpha buzz during the time you were there? Did you know? Was it one
Yeah, it was Christine Dwyer, who's a good friend of mine. I think she's watching. Hi.
Hey, Christine, you're watching. Hello.
Caroline Bowman, Rachel Tucker, Lily Cooper, Alyssa Fox. I'm missing people.
Wow.
Jenny Denoya. Duh.
Jenny.
And then Glenda's were Carrie St. Louis, Cara Lindsay. It was Cara Lindsay, Carrie St. Louis, back to Cara.
Oh,
So I
my
only had
God.
3, and then I had the standbys and outer cities.
Right.
Yeah.
Must have been amazing to do another show with Kara.
Yeah, it was fun.
Wow.
We're very stupid together. So
That's amazing.
Yeah.
She's truly so wonderful. I love her so much.
she's good
When
people.
you talk about being
Yeah.
kind to good people, she really is.
Yeah.
Just one of the kindest people
Mhm.
I've ever met, and just so funny. She's really,
Yeah.
really goofy.
Yeah, I just went back and saw the show recently
Mhm.
because my friend Allie, who I did Birdie with, is the new Glinda standby.
Yes.
And she was
yes.
on like for a while, and I went and got to see her. It was like very out of body to be
Yeah.
back in that building.
and
I
it
had-
still holds up pretty well.
yeah, I mean, the last time I was in there was probably like 6 years ago, so I was like very like, I feel like I should be on stage right now.
Right.
I'm missing my cue. Yeah.
it's a very monumental. It's a monumental show. It's a huge show.
Mhm.
I worked there briefly when things reopened. At the time I was working merchandise for a bit for the company that does Wicked, and it was so cool to like be and see that show. Just people buy merchandise of that show like crazy, but also the one night, and I can say this because I don't work there, I don't get in trouble. But at the end of the night, now with the COVID stuff, you had to take the elevator down in this like, on the top floor where the mezzanine
I
is.
know. Yeah.
Okay, and then there's like back there, there's like the men's room, and it leads. There's the elevator, and then there's the steps to where
Yeah.
the cast is. And so one night I was just like, you know what? I'm supposed to take the elevator. The elevator takes forever. I don't know if it takes ever for you guys. So it took, and it was like nobody was there. It was like 10 o'clock, 10:30. Nobody was there, so I took the steps, and it was so cool because I got to see, on the steps they have all of those names, like
Oh, yeah.
all of the in the green papers of who was
The
there.
alumni.
Of the alumni. And it was just like, and the people who work merchandise used to do that before COVID, but it was just like, wow, this is really cool to see all of the alumni.
That's what's
It's
cool. It's like
amazing.
almost like a museum
Yes.
back there because it's like very clear that that's just
Yeah.
Wicked lives there.
Yep, I took
Lives there.
the trash out the one night. I remember going down to like the very bottom floor, and there was like I saw this door, and it was signed by all these legends, Julie Andrews.
Oh
Right,
yeah, I know what you're
I
talking
mean,
about.
I was just like I some of these people who weren't even, I think Rue had signed it, and some of these people who weren't even alive. I just was like, oh my god, like this is like
If those
Crazy.
walls could talk, there's like a lot of history.
right. Oh well, what's your favorite memory of Wicked? Do you have a funny story that you remember, or from behind the
Oh,
scenes?
my wig fell off my first performance.
Really?
Yeah, we were like standing up, being like, "Look at her, she's wicked," fired, and I like stood up and I was literally bald. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get fired. Like, and I drove. I was Figaro's driver, if anyone's familiar with the show.
Yes.
And I drive this cart in, and I drove the cart into the proscenium, and the whole thing shook. I was like, oh my god. So I'm very clumsy and klutzy.
I'm
So
sure you're not the first person. and
yeah,
nor
I
the
mean,
last
I had to
do
like
that.
go in reverse, and then a stagehand just like pulled it off.
I'm surprised it's not a stagehand working it. Like I'm surprised it's actually
I
a person
know.
working.
Yeah, I also. Well, I can't give anything else away. Yeah, I was gonna
Wow.
give something away
No,
that I
that's
probably
all right.
can.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I know that there's as big as Disney with the having tight lips on people.
You're watching.
Yeah, but it's such an interesting thing. Now, when the wig fell off, did you know at the time that it fell off, or was it you looked down and saw it? Or?
Oh yeah, I knew because it fell behind, in between, like it was on a staircase, like on stage right, so it was
Okay.
like behind the staircase, but between the wings, so it was just like on stage for all back when like hidden.
Wow.
So someone had to get it. And my hat was still on. So I like
Oh.
threw my hat back on. And I looked like Five Goes West and like this like big coat and like a little hat or like a big hat, and it was like just over my face.
Oh
But
my
my like hats and my wigs, my hat fell off my first performance of Newsies too. So it's like a
Really?
weird
That's
thing that's happened. So I'm like, okay,
Wow.
now if something doesn't fall off, is that bad luck? So who knows?
Yeah. Oh, that is so interesting. I love that's so interesting. Yeah, maybe the next show you do, hopefully something needs to fall off the first one.
Yeah, who knows? Hopefully not.
Right. And that audition process, was that pretty simple, or did you go in a lot for that?
Yeah, I went in once for the Bach replacement on the road. Didn't get it. Went back in for this track that covered it. Went in, did the dance call, bombed it. Was like, I'm not getting called back. They called. They're like, can you come back tomorrow and dance and read and sing for us?
Yeah.
I got there. I didn't have to sing material because they had just seen me do it. So I just did the sides, and they had me sing the B flat at the end of No One Points the Wicked, and they're like, you can do that, great. And then I got the call the next day.
Oh my god, that's
Yeah.
amazing. Well, and Bach also does other roles in there, right?
Just the opening.
Just
Just the opening, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then it's the driver. That's it.
No, so my ensemble track was
Oh,
yeah. I was like man one soloist in the ensemble. So
I
like
got you.
any solo that you hear on the recording,
I got you. Yes.
that's not me on the recording. but
Yeah, no,
that's
no,
the
well,
ones that I
It's all right. Well,
Yeah.
and if you do have the recording, a few weeks ago I had Ben Cameron on, who was in the original Wicked, and he's Linda, was it you? You were my
Yeah.
friend. He was.
I was Glinda exactly how dead is she?
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, it's such a. I mean, that show is. It never gets old. I mean, I've seen it. I saw it when it reopened on Broadway's reopening night, and it was magical. And then I saw it a lot, when I was working there, and it never gets old. I watch that show, and every time I leave that theater, it's like you remember why you love why you're involved in this crazy world of theater in some way or another, because it truly is just like never gets old. It still amazes me, and I still get goosebumps every time she defies gravity.
I turned to my mom at intermission in 8th grade.
Uh-huh.
And when we went, I missed my chorus concert for it. And I was like, I'm going to be in this. And then getting to call her and be like, well, I'm going to be in it. I'm not Fiyero like I thought.
Did you see it with the original cast?
Everyone except Kristen and Norbert.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They had left by that time?
Yeah, I saw Joey McIntyre and Jennifer Laura Thompson.
Oh, that's so cool.
I did a workshop with Jennifer Laura Thompson. I was like, I just have to say, you're my first Glinda. She's like, I want to hug you and hit you at the same time.
I love that. That is amazing. Now, have you seen there's the German production currently happening in Germany?
I've done
Have
the
you seen-
research,
Have you seen the research? Okay. If you guys haven't seen this, you have to watch the German production. There's a bootleg on YouTube of the German production of Wicked. It is pretty cool. It's Defying Gravity. So it's I don't know if it's the unauthorized. It's authorized, but it's basically it's all the same songs and everything. It's just a completely different set, completely different
Yeah, it's a new
costumes,
design.
New design. And Defying Gravity, at the end of it, she's, in this one, she defies gravity on stage, and she's like 10 feet high. This alphabet is like, kind of does it Mary Poppins style. She's over the audience flying and like standing there. And then at the last, she like just goes out like audience right and just like flies out over the
It's
audience.
wild. It looks
It's
kind of
like-
cool though.
It looks really cool. I'm like, okay,
I'm excited for the movie. Let's get it
the
going.
movie is going to be really cool.
Yeah.
But I was like, if they, that'd be cool. I would love to see that one day happen, maybe on Broadway, or maybe see this German production, because that's pretty fun to see.
For sure.
Yeah, you're looking forward to the movie.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah,
That'll
it's gonna be cool.
good. I hope it's going to be good. I mean, we waited all this time.
Oh,
so many
look,
years.
I mean, it's gonna look pretty. Yeah, at least, you
I
know.
hope so.
And those two are gonna.
Kill
Kill it.
Slay,
Yeah.
for sure. So you and I first connected when you were Mike TV in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory on tour. You were coming to Philadelphia, and I had interviewed you for my site, RyeTheNewsGuy.com. I sent you some questions, and you graciously answered them. That was so exciting. What was it like to play Mike TV on tour, and how did that audition come about?
I went in a lot for the original Broadway company.
Really?
Yeah, and I, didn't end up getting it. So I was like, all right, I'll stay in on this. It's great.
Yeah.
It's nice to audition when you have a show. Too,
Oh, I'm
it's like,
sure.
but it was like I was ready to move on
Mhm.
and do something else. So it didn't happen, and then it kind of just fell back into my lap. I went in a December. Like I had one audition in December, and then I went back in like 3 months later
Oh,
for the full team, and then didn't hear anything for a month. And then I got it. I was doing a workshop of Beetlejuice.
Okay.
I was just filling in for someone who couldn't do it.
Mhm.
Same producers. And they kind of alluded. It was like the day of my callback, like for the whole team. They were
Right.
there. I like literally shaved in the bathroom of New 42 and like put a beat on. 'Cause I'm like, I gotta be 12. And I went, and then I came back from the audition, and he was back at the studio, and he was like, would you be interested in touring? I was like, I don't know if I should answer this. Like, just because I'm like, you're the producer. I'm like,
Right.
yeah. Well, I was like, yeah, of course. And I was like, you know what? I was like, yeah, of course.
That's amazing.
But like, it kind of just was one of those things that like fell into my lap. The part was fun. I played a little asshole. So he was such a little shit.
He is. He really is. I mean, and in the musical version, that he's even more of like a little shit.
I'm like, I would hate to see that Mike TV grown up.
Right.
I'm like, what would
What?
he probably voted for that don't say gay shit. That's like
I mean,
the kind of stuff he
crazy.
would do.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
awful.
could you imagine that any of them, aside from
Yeah.
Charlie as an adult? I mean, that was
Horrible.
I can't
Horrible.
imagine. So, what was the touring experience like for you? It was your first time on tour, right?
Yeah, it was
Did you enjoy it?
I did. It was nice because we were in every city for at least a week. It was nothing less than a week. So that was really nice. Some cities for a month. I spent 7.5 weeks in Canada, in Toronto. It was amazing. And I got to see the country on somebody else's dime, which was very nice.
Always very nice. Yeah.
Got to travel with my dog,
Oh, that's wonderful.
Met my partner doing it, so that's so
Oh,
great.
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So he was part of the show.
Yeah.
Oh, that's always the best.
Yeah, he was Father Bucket, who was. So he did like a ballet dance, and he was like the tallest Oompa Loompa. I was like, that one.
That's amazing. That's so sweet. Did you have a favorite city that you went to?
I liked Chicago. I loved Denver for many reasons. LA. No, not LA. San Diego.
Nice.
Yeah, I ended up spending most of the pandemic in San Diego too. So
Really?
yeah,
Amazing.
I was out there working.
Uh-huh.
I was doing a new show, and it got shut down because
Yes.
of COVID.
Right.
Like tomorrow. No, 2 days from now.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, they let us stay there. I lived in artist housing for like a long
Amazing.
time. Yeah.
Well, we'll talk more about that shortly and more about the tour. Right now is one of my favorite times of the evening. It is the Broadway trivia time. So excited for today's trivia questions. How this is going to work is I have 4 trivia questions right over here. I'm going to ask them. Whoever answers correctly will get a prize. I have to give a big thanks. We can all give a big round of applause for Jersey Boys. They are tonight's sponsor. Thank you, Jersey Boys. Round of applause for Jersey Boys. Thank you. Yes, they graciously provided these limited edition ducks, rubber duckies, and they're all, I know, Miles can't stop laughing. They're all dressed like Jersey Boys, so you're going to win these. I also have some stuff from the Broadway Makers Market as well. And you guys are the first to know this, but there's no show next week. In 2 weeks, on March 24th, that show is going to be sponsored by Harvey Fierstein's book, I Was Better Last Night, and I'm giving away 4 signed copies of his book. So first time I've announced that publicly. We're going to have Mia Pinero as our guest, so that's going to be great as well. So let's get started. Raise your hand, and that's the best way so I can keep track of who does it. You're welcome to play. You don't have to if you don't want to. No pressure.
I'm afraid I'm not gonna know these.
No, as I say, no pressure. All right, so sticking with the Jersey Boys theme, what music singing sensation is playing Frankie Valli in the upcoming Jersey Boys musical movie? He's in a popular boy band.
There's another one coming out?
Yeah, movie musical.
I was gonna say they're making another movie of it.
Yeah. He is in a movie musical. He's a famous boy band.
It's Nick Jonas, right?
Nick Jonas, that's right. Congratulations.
You won the duck.
Woo! Jersey Boys. You won some Jersey Boys ducks. Yeah, amazing. Limited edition. They don't sell them anywhere, so it's pretty freaking
I
cool.
love
Thank you,
it.
Jersey Boys. And yes, Nick Jonas. So I'm excited. I don't know when it's coming out, but should be good. Sticking on the theme of Jersey Boys, this might be a tough one, but what Academy Award winner actor in the show introduced Bob Gaudy to the Four Seasons? Well, I guess I should say in real life. What Academy Award winner introduced Bob Gaudio to the Four Seasons? Joe Pesci. Yes.
Joe Pesci?
Here you go, Jared. Congratulations. You get Jersey Boys ducks. Fabulous. Yes, Joe Pesci. That's great.
Quack, quack.
All right, amazing. So, quack, quack, yeah. Hello, welcome. This is Broadway Trivia. This is live with Rye Friends on Broadway. We're doing our Broadway Trivia segment, so you're just in time. At what Broadway theater were the 2020-2021 Tonys held this past year? At what theater were the Tony Awards held at this past year?
I'm embarrassed. I don't know any answer.
Any guesses?
Fuck it, just name one.
So I'll do multiple choice. What theaters? This was in September. Was it the Imperial? Was it A, the Imperial, B, the Winter Garden, C, the Music Box, or D, the Gershwin?
That's not correct. I do know that.
Okay, I'll just say it was B, the Winter Garden.
Oh.
The Winter Garden Theater. It's all right. It's all right.
Learn to read lips, girl.
All righty. This should be an easy one. So, who starred as the original Funny Girl on Broadway?
Barbara Streisand.
Barbara Streisand. Yes, here you go, Miles. You look at me like, oh, but all these questions I ask everybody knows. So I wanted to throw an easy one in. Some people may not have known that.
Thank
Here you are, some Broadway coloring pages.
Miles like to call it.
What?
I'll get some crayons on my way home.
Oh, shut up. And also on there is the Broadway Makers Marketplace. They're great if you're in Columbus Circle. If you're in Columbus Circle and you're down at the shops, check them out. They're at the end. They're all handmade Broadway vendors. They have some amazing things, so check them out as well. All right, well, thank you everyone for playing that. That was awesome, and we want some Jersey Boys ducks. Come out in 2 weeks you'll win a signed copy of Jersey. You'll win a signed copy of Harvey Firestein's I Was Better Last Night. I have 4 copies to give away.
That I want.
Listen, those books are not cheap, and it's a hand signed by him. So you want to come out next?
Have an autograph, sweetie.
Yeah, have an autographed book. I mean, we unfortunately couldn't get Harvey, but he was a doll enough to give 4 signed books. So I don't want to miss it. I've started to read his book. It's very good. So in regards to touring, I would love to know, do you have advice for those who are going out on tour? It's in the sense of the changing climates that they go into. There's sometimes you in a place and it's cold, it's warm. How did you adjust to that as a performer with your vocal cords and everything?
Yeah, just hydrating. I have a steamer that I would steam with, 30 minutes for the show. Humidifiers, just depends. In Denver, the altitude's so high that they have oxygen off stage. If you get woozy, you can go off stage and and then rub back on. I didn't have to use it.
Is that high up? Where?
Up here?
Which one's
Yeah.
Frankie?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. What'd you say?
I don't know. They didn't tell me.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's all right.
I'm sending a text to somebody.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know. They all just, I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I've heard from people I've spoken to that touring is an interesting beast because of the changing climate.
Well, yeah, and also being on an airplane and then that's your only day off. That kind of sucks because then you're just you kind of feel like shit after you're on an airplane. I don't know. For
When you went to Philly, did you like Philly?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. I mean, that's the city I grew up going to, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I really enjoyed Philly. We were there for 3 weeks. I had a really cool Airbnb. That was what was cool about touring. Is staying and living in different neighborhoods and different apartments all the time.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Did anyone see Charlie and the Chocolate Factory here on Broadway when it ran for a minute? Anyone
You
see it?
didn't miss
No.
much.
No. Well, anyway, it's got some good songs in it. You didn't miss much, but he played Mike TV and that role.
Well, they made it better for the tour.
Did they?
Yeah, they rewrote some and they
Did they make
fixed the
Chocolate Factory?
set. Yeah,
They fixed the set.
Yeah.
Okay. The Chocolate Factory that came out on wheels.
I had one drink and I'm like,
No, I'm not. Listen, I'm sorry. I was disappointed. I mean, the Chocolate Factory came out on wheels. It looked like in the Broadway
putt-putt
production.
golf. But in on tour it was like a whole thing. Yeah, it's very
that's
pretty.
amazing. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, but for a Broadway production.
He actually
it was-
fell down a thing. Like it was all.
Okay,
yeah.
like came out on this sliding thing that looked like a high school thing and like
Yeah.
production. I'm not knocking high school productions, but I'm like,
No,
Come
they
on,
changed.
Warner
They
Brothers.
like they changed. Well, the thing was, they had a really lavish set in the on the West End, and they got like panned for it. So then they like really reeled it in,
oh,
and they
okay.
didn't find that exact happy medium.
I
But now the
understand.
non-union tour that's out has the best set,
Really,
100%.
that's
Yeah.
that's a shock.
Because it like almost looks cartoony, and like I'm like, okay, if you're gonna do it, do it
That's
that way.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow, that is amazing. Well, so yes, you were talking about also being in San Diego for the pandemic, but before that, you were at La Jolla, which is in San
Yeah.
Diego for Fly. Talk about Peter
Mhm.
Pan.
Yeah.
It's sort of that's based on Wendy's point of view, correct?
Yeah, it was a modern retelling.
Okay, and what-
And it's more of like a female empowerment story, how she kind of like didn't need Peter to save him, and it was really, really
You liked
awesome.
it?
Yeah, I loved it. The show was great. The music was awesome. The same team as Hamilton, can't complain.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really awesome. The choreography was incredible. It was Andy Blankenbuehler and Stephanie Clemens. They were co-choreographers,
That's.
and it was really amazing. Jeffrey Sell directed.
Mhm.
The music was so fun. I got to drum on stage. Like, it was super cool.
And
Yeah.
did you get any performances in before COVID?
Yeah, we had 27 previews, and we
Wow.
had 3 performances post-opening. I did a full run as Peter, because I covered Peter
Uh-huh.
with the flying and everything. Flew over, like, pirate ships, did flips.
What'd you think of the flying? Did you like that?
It was really fun.
Yeah.
I was excited to get more comfortable with
Uh-huh.
it. It was the same people that do all the flying for the Cirque du Soleil shows.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
that's
like the
cool.
day of the opening party, they're like, we're gonna have so much more time together, and then the world shut down. And it was very sad. but-
Yeah. Do you know if are you? Is there and has there been any updates with it since? Or,
No.
Yeah, it was very. I mean, everybody was talking about it. It was very much.
Yeah, it was
something
cool.
people were looking forward
Yeah,
to,
it
so
was
I hope
cool.
It has another. I hope it continues to life.
I might be too old now, but who knows?
Oh my gosh! It's like it's only been 2 years. You look so.
Hey,
young.
who
You
knows?
still
A
look-
lot can
I-
change.
I mean, I'm not just saying that you look like you're still out of high school. So I mean, you still have the youthful look to you. On top of being a Broadway performer and doing on tour, you've also released 2 singles. One called "Where to Begin" and your most recent one, "Feel Your Love," which is your most recent. I loved it. Hello, I have to say, hello, young Elton looks with the
Thank
pink
you.
and the
It was like
glasses.
very Harry Styles meets
Harry
Elton
Styles.
John.
I loved it.
moment.
Loved
Heavily
it.
inspired by those two. Yeah.
So cool. So what was the inspiration for each single, and what did you learn in creating the single that you
Yeah.
put out?
Where to Begin, I wrote completely by myself. I was dumped and I was sad, so I wrote a song on my guitar
Uh-huh.
a very long time ago, and then I was like, oh, let's try and do this. So I just released it was just me on the guitar doing it, and then Feel Your Love kind of happened because I had a friend of mine's a music producer was like, we have this idea for something. We would love you to co-write with us, like blah blah blah. Did it, and then kind of they sent me the hook, and I was like, yeah, this is great. And then they sent me a verse, and then we wrote like the second verse and the bridge in the studio while I was home for Christmas, last year. And I went to the studio in Brooklyn. We just spent like all day there, and it just kind of happened, and it was so fun doing that. I like that process much more because it's a more collaborative experience, and
That's great.
you have an idea, we bounce off each other, like blah blah. Like it was really fun to just I sang for 7 hours straight. I was chugging straight Pedialyte, so I could still phonate after a while.
It's a really good song. If you haven't listened to it,
Yeah,
out
it's
there, you have
anywhere you
to-
can stream music.
it's "Feel Your Love" is so. It's a bop, as I said. I was listening to it today. It was really good.
Yeah, it was like a
And-
summer pride anthem for me.
Yes.
It's that's what my idea was, and it's just we don't have. There are a lot of queer artists,
Yes.
but not a lot have crossed into the mainstream. I'm not saying I'm crossed into the mainstream, but it would be cool to do so.
I agree.
Just more queer artists living authentically and just not having to fit in that box like we were talking about
Right.
before.
No, well, and that's. I mean, that's I hope ideally what we all hope for. Right?
Yeah.
Is that especially for queer
If
artists.
Florida gets their ass together, Jesus.
Yeah, I know, right? It's crazy. Well, I'm curious when you wrote these songs, what advice do you have for release for people who are musicians or singers and wanting to release their own work or do you have advice on whether it's releasing on platforms, something you've learned in this
Mhm.
experience? I always find it so interesting because it seems so foreign to me to release something on
Yeah,
Spotify.
it's playlisting is like the most important thing. Like, and you would never think about that. Like, you have to like submit it to all these playlists because then you can get put on like an editorial playlist for Spotify. And then if that happens, then your song is like kind of guaranteed to pop off. And you like, there's never a rhyme or reason of why it's going to happen. But also just like as a writer or as someone who wants to release music, you have to just keep writing, like write shitty songs until like that one is like, oh, this is actually good. And just like try not to judge yourself because that's what I do. And it like, I so get writer's block because I'm like, oh, that sucks. I can't do it. So, you know,
Yeah.
So just don't judge yourself.
Well, that's great advice. Don't judge yourself. I can't believe our time has come to an end.
Hey.
And as I told you, the hour went so fast.
I love that.
Before we close, Danny, where can we keep up with you, follow you, give us all the good stuff?
Yeah, TikTok, Instagram, just Danny Quadrino.
TikTok is
Very, very easy. I
Amazing.
deleted Twitter because it's a dumpster
okay. That's
fire.
what I thought.
It's literally a dumpster fire.
Yeah, no, it is. But I tried. That's why I.
And it's like dark now. I'm
Yeah.
like, whoa, I didn't know Twitter
Well,
was that.
I that's why I couldn't find you. I tried to tag you earlier.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, I looked it up, and then I was like,
Disabled.
and I was like, we never had any communication. You didn't block me. And
No,
I'm
no, I like
but,
disabled my
then I
Twitter,
figured,
yeah.
I was like, maybe he got rid of it. So I don't.
It just
blame
was
you.
enough. I did that and I got rid of Facebook. If you have not gotten rid of Facebook, I really suggest you do. It's
Yeah.
really, really great for your
I mean,
overall life.
well, I agree with you with the Twitter. I very rarely post on it. So
I just would sit and scroll on Facebook and like, especially during like
um,
the election,
yeah.
growing up in like on Long
Right.
Island, like where I'm from, I'm like, oh God, all these people. And it's just
Yeah.
like, you know, I didn't want to like get into a fight with like Cindy, my neighbor anymore.
Right.
So I'm like, I'm just
Makes
gonna
it
delete
easier
this
if
from
you get
my
rid of it.
health, you know.
Yeah, if you get rid of it, it makes
Yeah.
it easier. Well, let's give Daniel a big round of
Thanks.
applause. And I am so thrilled that you took your time to be a special guest, and you are so talented, and I'm so glad to know you and everything you're doing, and I am sure you'll be back on the Broad soon. I'm excited to see what you do next regardless. So thank you so much. And everyone out here, make sure you tip Casey, your server tonight, treat her well. If you, those of you watching at home or here, if you love what you saw, on the table here is my Venmo QR codes. You can scan that and leave a little tip if you'd like. For those at home, you can click the link there and watch there. As I said, there is no show next week, March 17th. The following week, March 24th, I resume with my guest, Mia Pinero. She was the understudy of Maria in the recent West Side Story revival. And again, I'm giving away 4 Harvey Fierstein signed books. And again, continue to support the show. You can follow me at Rye_Myers on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. I'm also on TikTok, which I'm getting used to. But thank you to Bar 9. Stick around. We have Dueling Pianos next. And if you like Broadway, Tuesday nights is Broadway karaoke here as well. So thank you so much, everyone. I'll see you next week. Have a great night.
That's not right. Danny fucking up. Sorry. Hi, I'm with Rye Friends On Broadway. Guys, stick around. We're going to our Dueling Pianos next. We got Matt and Caroline in the house tonight, so it's going to be a hell of a show. So make sure you hang around. Thanks.